Crescent City Steakhouse, a true neighborhood restaurant operated by the Vojkovic family since 1934, is the oldest steakhouse in the city of New Orleans. Serving only hand-cut, prime-aged, corn-fed beef for over 80 years, Crescent City Steakhouse has become a dining destination for both die-hard locals and adventurous travelers who seek traditional, timeless New Orleans cuisine. Crescent City Steakhouse, 1001 North Broad, on the corner of St. Philip, in the heart of New Orleans.
Inspired by the culture and spirit of New Orleans, the contemporary abstract and figurative work of Tony Mose and the urban expressionist art and jewelry of Tracy Mose are now on display and available at Esom Art Galleries. Esom Art Galleries are artist-owned and are located in Uptown New Orleans on Magazine Street and on Royal Street in the heart of the French Quarter. Esom Art Galleries, inspiration from the soul of New Orleans.
Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to Primetime Sports. It's a special edition today, and I'm your host, Scott Alexander, otherwise known as maybe Fire Marshal Bill from In Living Color meets the Pinball Wizard, Elton John. I don't know what I am, but here we go. And what do we have here? We're all dressed up today, and what are you, my man?
I'm Batman.
Otherwise known as Alex, our audio guy. He's Batman! And we got everybody. We got the Flintstones in the back. We got football players, and all the guests today will be dressed up. Some in their uniforms, others in other stuff, but we'll see. First of all, we're starting off today with Jordan Johnson, the guy who led the country in three-point shooting percentage. That's right. Out of 363 teams and 5,000 players, this guy was number one. He's going to preview UNO's start to the season, and not to be outdone, Tulane. We have one of their star players, a four-year starter, Sion James from Atlanta. This guy is the heart and soul and represented the country, the United States over there in China, with the rest of the Tulane Green Wave, and they came back with a bronze medal. We're going to talk to him. And also Jimmy Ordeneaux, an offensive tackle starter on the 1998 championship team. That's him on the right side leg over there, holding up Rich Rodriguez, who is the offensive coordinator on that 12-0 undefeated team. He's also part of the Fear the Wave Collective, the NIL group. That's FTWcollective.com. That's the group with Mike Arata that gets the money and disperses it to the players, and that's the website. Check that out as well. We're going to have all that, but we're going to talk some big things going on right now. We all know the big thing that we have coming up this week is the LSU Tigers. That's right. They have their big yearly game against Alabama, and this is one of those special years when they're both very good. Alabama ranked 8th in the country. LSU ranked 13th. Now, they've been higher when they played. They've both been top 5 before, more than once. But this is special because the loser will effectively be out. And then before you say LSU's got 2 losses and they're out, hold on. Au contraire, mon frere, they have a legitimate shot if they get through Alabama and then the rest of the season, and then they have to beat Georgia if that gets to that. They will have a shot. Moving forward, how about the Tulane Green Wave? They keep on rolling along. They win again. They're now 7-1. Now, they had a 27-7 lead against Rice, but they ended up surviving and winning 30-28. They are ranked 21st in the country. Let's move on to the New Orleans Saints. They seem to change our attitudes about them every week. Now they're on the positive. 38 points scored legitimately on the offense. Alvin Kamara, Derek Carr, they had great games. Moving forward, this should be fun. I went to the Pelicans game last night. Not so good. They lost big in the second half. It was close for a half. Brandon Ingram didn't play. That concerns me some, but they're now 2-1 moving forward. Texas won again in the World Series. They're up 2-1 in the series. They won 3-1 last night. They play again tonight, Game 4 in Arizona. Hey, we have a great show for you today. I cannot wait. College basketball is around the corner. It all starts up November 6th, so we're going to talk about it a lot today. Happy Halloween, the Monster Mash!
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
Well, happy Halloween, everybody. I know we said that in the open, but here we are, and I can't wait. We're going to wear this the entire show, and I think the guests are going to have some costumes, too. Some might be their regular costumes, including my first guest tonight, Hey, this is a guard that led the entire country in three-point shooting percentage. That's 363 teams. I got to tell you this, he was also first team All-Southland. He was the second leading scorer in the league, averaging over 18 points a game, and he's returning. I can't wait. His name is Jordan Johnson, and you're going to hear a lot about him this year because UNO's got a senior-laden team with a lot of experience, and I'm looking forward to getting out there for the opener next Monday, November 6th. But here he is. Jordan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How about you?
You got one of those games. I'm doing great. You got one of those names that just rings, Jordan Johnson. So do you see yourself maybe one day playing on another level?
Yes, sir. Of course. That's been my dream since I could ever remember. The work I put in, I know I'm not just putting in for anything. Like, I just want to be able to one day say that I did it. As far as this, out the country, if I have a chance at the NBA, but anything professional is just my goal.
I mean, there's lots of money to be made overseas, but let's start from the beginning. Like, let the people know. I know you're here in New Orleans for your second season, but you had a path to get here. Where are you from, and tell me how early you started playing basketball.
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, the South Memphis area, Orange Mountain to be exact. I went to Hamilton High School, won state there,
Nice.
and then I moved on to Hines Community College in the Jackson area for 2 years.
Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes,
yeah.
sir. And then I spent a year in Denver, and then it led me to be here in New Orleans.
Well, I have some friends in Denver. They kept sending me pictures this weekend of their first real big snow. I know you get some snow in Memphis. I know it happens, but not like you do in Denver, right? So how was that experience up there?
That was a wild experience. Like, I wasn't used to having to actually put on boots,
Right.
wear bubble coats the whole year. Like, I stayed until like June or July, and it was snowing up until then.
Wow. Wow. Are you kidding me?
Yes, sir.
June and July. I didn't even know it went that far. So then you had a decision to make. You had a couple years left of eligibility, and you wanted to go to a bigger school, see what could happen. So what made you choose UNO and the city of New Orleans?
For one, they was like the first ones to jump out and reach out to me when I got in the portal, and they never stopped contacting me day in throughout. You know, sometimes coaches will reach out, but then they'll go a week or two without responding. I was talking to Coach Sless and previous coaches every day, like I was already here. So I just felt like that would have been the best chance for me to expand my game as well as being like in a family-oriented team.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, it's as family-oriented as it gets over there. I've known Coach Sless for almost a dozen years, and I gotta tell you, I love the way he treats his players, and I know you've seen that firsthand. But you're from Memphis. It's only like 5-6 hour drive. Had you been to New Orleans? Would you know about New Orleans before?
Yes, sir. Growing up in basketball, playing AAU, you know, you have a couple tournaments here and there down here, and like my family likes to travel anyway, so like we came here a couple times, so I was already used to the city and what it was known for.
All right, now you're not quite a native yet, but you are New Orleanian. You've been here almost 2 years. So I want to ask you, when you first got here until now, what have your impressions been of living in the city?
The weather. So going from Denver to coming to here, it was a big change. And then, like you said, it snows in Memphis, so I'm thinking south. So I'm thinking it would be like cold a lot, snowing a lot, but it really wasn't. It's always like kind of like me, cool, calm, and collective.
I like it.
Like you get the same thing day in, day out. And the city in general is just a happy city to me. Like, I just like being here.
Hey, that's a line I remember. It's kind of like me, cool, calm, and collected. And I agree. I've seen footage of you. Nothing really phases you. Where do you get that from?
Just knowing that I'm a smaller guy, so like I can't worry about I can't worry about like the negative things letting it bother me. I just know like the next play, just keep going.
I'm looking at you thinking, I mean, you're a smaller guy, but you can fill it up. When you get on the court, and I guess people know you now, obviously, when you lead the country in shooting, I mean, you're going to be recognized, but you take it to the hoop, too. There's your thing. First in the nation, three-point percentage. I love that graphic. Thank you, Randy and Coach Sless, for getting me that. But the fact is have you ever been underestimated when you go onto a court because maybe your size, you just don't look like a killer?
Always. I've been the smallest. I've never been the closest to tallest guy nowhere I've been. I always played up. I always played on the biggest platforms, and I've always been the smallest. So with me knowing that, that's like out the window. I'm not going in here feeling like, oh, I might not be able to do this. I know what I do day in, day out, putting in the work. So I just know it's going to fall in my hands.
I want to get back to hoops in a second, but I got to ask you just questions about city because we are New Orleans. And once again, what foods did you never eat before until you came here, and now you find yourself liking it a little bit, or a lot?
I didn't really eat seafood a lot, nor did I like pasta. But now, like, seafood pasta is like my favorite dish.
You're talking about like the creamy pastas with like the shrimp or crawfish in it?
Yes, sir.
Do you? Okay, I love that too, by the way. And obviously I eat too much of it. But the fact is do you ever eat the boiled crawfish yet? Because that's an acquired thing.
I haven't got to that yet.
Okay, you got to give it a shot. You got to go to a crawfish bowl and give it a shot. Now oysters are another thing.
No,
Yeah, I understand. That's a brave man that tried the first oyster. I'm gonna say that. But once you get hooked on those, there's no giving that up. As far as the team now, because I know y'all been kind of looking forward to this year. Last year you had a great season, I mean, coming in, but now you got the guys coming back. What's the outlook out there among the players about this coming up season and the anticipation for it?
Just knowing that we have the experience now. So it's nothing that we're not going to see that we haven't seen last year. So we're built for the pressure and we're built for the moment. And we know, like I keep saying, we know the hard work we've put in since last May, and we just ready to show the world that we one of the top teams in the country. Well,
let's talk about your team and your guys. I mean, you know, it's one thing when you first get there. It's almost like playing AAU. You're kind of getting used to play. You know, you're playing more often. Obviously, by the end of the season, you're in tune. Tell me what that was like, kind of getting acclimated to the guys you have, and tell me how many of those guys are returning and what you expect from them as well.
We have 6 to 7 returners, key returners as well. I believe we're like one of 2 maybe that are returning their previous starting 5.
Wow.
So I feel like that's a big jump right there, along with the other 2, which I said experience. They know what they have to do. I know what I have to do. And then along with the newcomers, it's like since the first day we gelled. Like we all know the end goal. Like we all want to win. We all want to make it to the tournament. So like we know that's the motivation to make us work hard every day.
That's a beautiful statement, by the way. And by the way, now that right there, that's one of your teammates, right? Who's that?
Caleb Rouse.
Yeah, talk about him.
You can quote me. I feel like he's the best two-way guard in our conference. I feel like he's the top offensive threat, but along with maybe the defensive player of the year in my eyes.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow, okay, so is that your backcourt mate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you have the ball in your hands coming up? I mean, all the time? Because shooters like to get set up, right? So tell me about what your normal style offense is.
For the most part, I bring it down, but like we just showed Caleb Rouse, we're getting him to where we can play off each other.
Interchange.
Yeah, just feed off each other. Maybe one play I can bring it down, one play he brings it down. We just help each other.
When did you and him realize y'all had the synergy together? You know, like when you're getting out there, and then you realize I love playing with this guy at one point.
I would say our Thanksgiving tournament last year.
Okay.
We went through a lot of adversity in that tournament, but I like how we handled it. It might not end it how we wanted, but we still it showed that in the long run, it's going to be like, I know he got my back for sure.
Yeah, I had Sless on about a month ago. We're kind of previewing the season, getting ready. Y'all about to start practice. Y'all may have just started, but the fact is, he was talking about some of the guys, and you mentioned the starters that are all returning. Why don't you give them some love right now and tell everybody what to expect from some of those guys and who they are?
The first person I would like to speak about is Tyson Jackson.
Yeah, Tyson.
Best big in the country, best big in the league.
I love this right here. That's nice, huh?
Yes, sir. I feel with him, which is a reason why I give a lot of credit to him, which is why I can be able to make the shots I make, because he's such a threat in the paint to where it relieves me and gives me a chance to be open.
It spaces the court a little bit, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
Tell me what makes him so special, because he's a guy that I hear a lot people talking about it.
Yes, sir. Of course, the people if you see him, you're gonna see his size. But me personally, as a big and knowing basketball, he has tremendous hands and he has tremendous touch around the rim.
That's beautiful for a big man.
Which is really hard to find.
Yeah, right. So have you played with a guy like that before?
Yes, I played with James Wiseman. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Different size though.
Yeah.
I mean, different kind of thing. But yeah, James, that's a different, unique kind of specimen himself.
Yeah. So besides James, I could honestly say Tyson is by far the best talented big I've ever played with.
I got to tell you something. I saw that T-shirt and that last shot said Team Penny. Now, I was around the Magic when Penny was there, because that's when I was starting to produce games for the NBA. And that dude with Shaquille O'Neal and obviously Dennis Scott and Nick Anderson and a local here, Donald Roll from St. Aug himself, that team had a great nucleus. What like, obviously you weren't born yet, but like, what are the stories you hear about Penny Hardaway coming up being a Memphis kid? Because he is definitely a Memphis guy.
Yes, for sure. Just how all around he was, how he would rather see someone else shine before he shines, and just bring along that energy and that tenacity that Memphis grew up, raised him with.
Do you wear number 1 for any reason? Because that was Penny's number.
No, sir. My favorite number is 11 because of my dad. He played at the University of Memphis.
My favorite number is 11 too. Yeah,
and then it's like coincidental because I wear 11 because of him, but also because I have like a slogan that says 1 of 1. So like with the 11, it's like the 1, then you put like a of, then 1.
All right.
So coming here, I kind of wanted like a new start from coming to Denver, so I just took off 1.
Took number 1, baby.
Yeah.
So we talked about Tyson, Kaler. So who's a couple of the other guys in the nucleus you have?
Jamon Vincent, Omar Henry. Those 2 guys are like that was their first year last year. Both were freshmen.
Okay.
But towards the end, they worked their way to the starting lineup and like was a key factor to
What
us.
do they do well? What do they do? Just pretend that the audience doesn't even know anything about them.
Both are very athletic, can score in the paint with ease. Both hands.
Are they bigs?
One is
Wing?
6'7". Yeah, one is 6'7". They both play the 3 and the 4. So
Okay,
like
right on.
interchangeable.
Yeah.
So yes, sir. They have a lot of energy, offensive and defensively, and they're both like working their game to where they can stretch it out.
All right, the coach, let's pretend he's not sitting there. But what do you like about your coach, Mark Schlesinger?
For one, that you're going to get the same him every day.
That's true. That is true.
Like
whether you like it or not.
Yeah, right. You like it or
you
not.
get that same one. There he is.
But he will run through a brick wall for you. Like
I believe that as well.
His energy is great. You'll never catch a day. If you're feeling down, just get around him. He's a great motivator, and he loves to get you better.
You know, you mentioned something early on about the family environment, and that part is the coach, man. He makes it a family. He brings his family, his wife Tony, obviously his kids, and I've noticed that they're always running around, and I love it. I remember when Bubba was just a baby, man, and now he's a big boy. But you know, the other kids as well. So what does that tell you when you see that kind of family environment for your coach and your team?
It just shows the love that he has for the game along with his family. Like everything, like I told you, everything we do is family oriented. No one's bigger than the other person, and he's willing to like give his shirt off his back for you. And I respect him so much for that.
Now let's talk about Jordan Johnson. From this point going forward, what are some goals you have for yourself? It's tough to beat what you already did with the shooting percentage. I mean, you made 93, by the way. That's a UNO record. And by the way, UNO's had some pretty good darn players. I mean, Bo McCaleb comes off the top of my head. He did a little bit of everything. But they've had a ton of guys that can shoot. And that's one particular game you got 39. Were you feeling it a little bit in that game? And give me some of your goals going forward.
As far as that game, yes, sir. That's probably like the best game of my life. I can honestly say anything I shot, I knew it was going in.
Isn't that the greatest feeling?
Yes, sir.
You just know it's going?
I just knew it was going in.
Yeah.
But then as far as my future, I want to be able to say that I led our team into a conference championship and a great run in a March Madness tournament. And then past that, like I told you earlier, I just want to make it professional, just to say I was a professional and play as long as I can.
When you have that shot, you're always going to make some money, as long as you keep working hard. I have no doubt in that. I saw some footage of you. My hat's like not good here. There you go. It's hard to do on camera, but there you go. But thank you for wearing the UNO outfit. Hey, show me here. Show everybody your kicks real quick, too.
Oh.
There you go. These are sweet right here.
Oh,
those are sweet. Now put that UNO thing again, New Orleans.
Yeah, got you.
See, I love this, that y'all have New Orleans on your jersey. This is the only school that says New Orleans in college. I appreciate you. Congratulations. And thank you for coming to New Orleans and enjoying our city. Hey, this is something that you got to feel this real quick. It's called Task Performance. And you probably heard of Under Armour and Nike Dry Fit, but I'm gonna tell you this: once you put that thing on, you're gonna want nothing else.
Yeah, I heard about these.
And you get a little bite to eat. You got to come uptown for this one. But hey, check it out. It's on Maple Street. There's another one on St. Charles Avenue. Just get you a little bite. They'll get you a nice lunch or dinner. But I appreciate you, Jordan Johnson, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to be there, so I hope y'all come support. It starts November 6th, okay? This Monday coming up over there at UNO at 6:30. That'll be a start. So get over there a little bit early. Get situated. Get yourself some stuff at the concession stand. Enjoy the game. That's the basketball season's here. I was at the Pelicans game last night. That didn't go as well as we wanted, but I plan on supporting. professional basketball, of course, the Pelicans, lots of college basketball and high school as well. Hey, get out there and support all the athletes in this city. They deserve it, and I know you'll love doing it as well. Hey, we're not stopping basketball here. Like I said, basketball season starts next Monday, so I wanted to focus on that. We talked about the Saints and LSU Tigers and all that all the time. But right now, let's focus real quick on the start of the season. I've already had the head coaches of Tulane, LSU, and UNO on. Now I'm going to start filtering in some players. Jordan Johnson, the best they get from shooting the ball. Next, we're going to have Sion James, who just came over. He was in China this summer, representing the United States, and Tulane is bringing back a lot of players themselves. This is going to be a great year for college basketball in the city of New Orleans. I cannot wait. He's coming up next, right here on Primetime Sports.
Rock and roll will never die. It's old New Orleans, my oh my. Come on, baby, let's go rock and roll at the city lane. All night, let's roll, let's rock and roll. Baby, do the rock and roll. At the mid-city lanes, the home of rock and roll.
Max Durbus Realtors has been providing commercial and industrial real estate services to its clients for nearly 100 years. Since 1934, Max Durbus has been locally owned and operated throughout the greater New Orleans area, including the North Shore, Hammond, and even the Mississippi Gulf Coast and beyond. We focus on your commercial real estate needs so you don't have to. More information is available at 504-733-4555.
Hey, you got to have wardrobe changes on Halloween, right? Well, my next guest will be wearing what I had on because he looks way better in it than I do. And you'll know him because he was on last summer, Sion James. I got to know him last summer, went to several Tulane games last year. I'll be going back to UNO and Tulane games all year, like I just said before, but I can't wait for the segment. Sion has become one of the leaders, not just of the team, of the university, and also becoming a leader in the city as well. And we are proud to have him. He's from Atlanta originally, where I lived for 20 years, and here he is again. Tulane starting point guard Sion James. He does it all. Point guard, built like a linebacker, though.
Oh, man.
How are you, man?
Doing great. And this jacket, you rocked it. I think I
you
got a little
look good,
something
though.
too.
You look
Appreciate
good with
it.
the hoodie. I mean, because I'm wearing that in New York tonight. I mean, we make no bones about it. We tape the show in the daytime. It airs on the same day. It's topical, but I'll be in New York, so I'll be wearing that. But
yeah.
I wish you'd come with me because you look a heck of a lot better in it. So happy Halloween, my friend.
Absolutely, you too.
Lots happened since I saw you last. I mean, think about this. It's probably been about 14, 15 months. What a season. I mean, I know you kept getting better, but let's just start there. Let's start from last year and go through that season and as you kept getting better and better and the wins kept piling up, what y'all went through.
Oh, last year was a roller coaster for sure. You know, we started off fine, crept up to top of the conference, had some good wins along the way. Season definitely didn't end like we wanted to. We had postseason dreams and aspirations that weren't able to reach, but luckily we retooled this year, ready to take another shot at it.
Well, you got some goals done. You got the 20 wins. You got some things. I mean, Tulane, hasn't been great in basketball. I mean, I remember some early years in the early 80s when I was in high school. They had a nice run there. I mean, they had 4 straight really nice seasons. They got the death penalty. They came back with Perry Clark as the head coach. They had some great years then. But it's been I don't remember this team having this much hope for a season, potentially since the Perry Clark days. Yeah. And Ron Hunter's a big reason for that. So talk about going into this season, what your expectations are, who's coming back, et cetera.
Yeah, so this season to be special, not just because of us, but all around Tulane athletics. We've got conference championships all over the place. Football gets theirs, baseball gets theirs, cross country just won a championship this past weekend.
Baseball, everybody's down on them and they win the conference tournament. How about that?
It's awesome, but things are turning around at Tulane athletics, and this is just an amazing time to be part of it. For us, we've got a lot of dudes coming back. We've got Forbes and Cross coming back. That was huge for us because those two really led the charge in everything we want to do in the past and everything we'll do going forward. plus a few of the new guys coming in. Should
I
be
mean,
special.
you're a Tulane commit, right? You've been Tulane only the whole way?
Yep.
Okay, so you've seen the landscape. It's completely changed from when you came to college. Guys, it's almost like you expect guys to play in a couple places, right? So, but you've been a Tulane guy from the beginning. What does that mean to you?
It means the world.
Yeah.
I love it here. I love
Yeah.
the city. The city's really not just grown on me, but grown in me. I love this place. There's nowhere else I'd rather go to college. Like, I've had the time of my life here, and it's a really special place. And it's amazing that I've been able to kind of grow up here. You know, I was 17 when I first got to college.
Right.
17 when I stepped foot on campus.
Wow.
And the city embraced me from the beginning. That's not something that almost anyone can say at any place. There's a reason that people transferred. I'm super lucky and blessed that I was able to find the right school at the beginning and take it all the way through.
One of the reasons it embraced you, because you embraced it. And you're obviously super likable, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're funny. You got the whole package. And I remember saying this after you were on the show last season. I said, listen, I said this off camera to you, I'm going to say it again. This guy will play professionally somewhere, wherever he wants to go. And I think it could be the NBA, and I think it will be, because you have that it factor in me. But you're going to be successful whatever you do in life. I know you're on leadership panels. You just get life, man, and it's hard to get. Some people don't get it till they're adults and way into adulthood. Some never get it. But the fact is, you get it, you embrace it, and that's why I think they've embraced you.
Thank you. And that's my family. It's 100% my family.
Right.
My mom, my dad, my brother. They showed me the way. My parents are some of the hardest working people that I've ever met in my entire life. They're the ones who instilled this in me. They're the ones who showed me what it looks like to lead and to love and to just really enjoy what you're doing, to be present where I am. And that's what I try to do every step of the way. And I'm so thankful for them and that they showed me that.
Well, you know, New Orleans and Atlanta, because I can say this because I've lived in both a lot. I lived, I guess, 45 of my 50-plus years in those two cities. I've lived other places, and then almost 20 in Atlanta. So I get Atlanta. In fact, when I moved back and I was on the air, they thought I was a mole for the Falcons. And I mean, they literally like, dude, what are you doing on the media here? Right. Because we know you're an agent for a while. Why are you trying to get information on the Saints? Well, okay, you grew up. I mean, you had to have grown up a Falcons fan, and we don't. Hey, you got to grow up somewhere. But the fact is. Do you ever feel that city-to-city thing? Because it's real. Yeah. And I don't have any hate for either city, because I always take up for the other for whatever. But the fact is that I know at home they're like, my kids grew up in Atlanta, right? But as a New Orleans guy, they're Saints fans. And I'm not trying to get you in allegiance because I know, but have you felt that Atlanta City kind of rivalry?
You know what? I don't even know if I should say this on air, but when I first came up here, everyone's asking, oh, you're from Atlanta, Sugar Hill, you're from Atlanta, like you're a Falcons fan.
Right.
And I've had to pretend not to be a football fan. I had to pretend that I don't like football at all just because
that's going to judge you off the bat.
I don't want y'all to look at me crazy. I want us to be able to have a good conversation.
Right, because they will judge you immediately.
I've had to put my Falcon fandom kind of in my back pocket.
The Falcons, what do they play? Basketball, hockey? What do they do? And then people are like, okay, we can hang out with you. No, you are from Atlanta. You have to be a fan, and we can't. Anybody that judges you for that, that's their problem. But New Orleans, and we talked about it, we love. Like I said, people to embrace us that are here, and and if you love us, we love it. But what are some aspects of this city? Now that you've been here, what, 4 years? Is it 4 or 5? I mean,
4 years.
4 years that you can take back and be like, man, I'm really going to miss that.
It's just the pride in the city. Everyone that I've met that's from here, a lot of people grown up here, they really, truly love the city of New Orleans. And they're prideful of it. They grew up here. They have just memories from all over the place. And that's something that I've really taken in. Like when I leave here, I'm not sure there are many other cities in the country where people truly love it and people truly enjoy and really embrace where they're from, like the city of New Orleans. It's amazing to see.
All right, I'm going to get into some hoops because I've been watching some recent film of you. And I know you've always been a guy that's got strong legs. You get up to the rim and finish. But dude, what kind of workout regimen are you on? Because I'm seeing some crazy. Your head's above the rim right here. I mean, you had some dunks in China, and let me preface this for those of you who know. Tulane represented the United States in China, and did they do it well? I mean, unbelievable. They went 5-1 in the games. They've got bronze medal, but they had the same record as the team that won the gold medal, and they beat them. They split those games, correct? So whatever way they figure that out, I don't know. So we might as well just call them gold medalists because you went around the country playing grown men a lot of times, right? These guys have been together. So talk about that experience, and where the heck did you get the Michael Jordan leaps from all of a sudden? Because I'm looking at this like, Did I just see that? I found myself rewinding the video like 3 or 4 times. It's been unbelievable.
Once again, the leaps, that's my mom and my dad. I take zero credit for that. My parents are amazing. They worked me to this.
Have you not noticed you got a little extra explosion right now going on?
A little something.
You hit
but
some kind of spurt in you. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think it was just the courts over there. Maybe they felt a little springy. Maybe I was just feeling myself a little bit.
Now you're being humble. All right.
No.
We'll take that. Your parents, obviously the genes play a part. And I mean, have you been a gym rat your whole life? What kind of, some people just play all the sports, which I love playing them all, but I was always a basketball gym rat. What is since basketball, when did that take over your life?
Basketball really took over my life later in high school, maybe about 10th grade. Played football and basketball. Football was my main sport, actually, until I got hurt playing football my freshman year, and then decided to just stick to basketball. And I decided if I'm going to do this, I'm going to really go all in. I knew at that point I wanted to play basketball in college. I wanted to play professionally, and that's when I decided that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the right way. I'll be in the gym every morning, working out every single day, and kind of making it happen.
I mean, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank, but JR will help me. The former Hornet Pelican, he went and played the Knicks and all, but Smith. Earl Smith was his real name, Earl Smith. But Earl was he was going to go to the University of North Carolina. He decided to go into the draft right away, and he was the 19th pick. That's the year they had 9 of the first 19 picks were from high school, and then that's why they changed the rule the following year. But the fact is, you remind me a lot of him. He could have been Ronnie Lott as a safety, and I was skeptical that he would even make the NBA for a long term, and he ended up having a long checkered career, right? You know who I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
You know, and he played for the Nuggets, played a lot of teams. Yeah. Feisty guy. And he was sitting where you were sitting in my show in Atlanta, and I'm like, and it was the football version of the show. He was the #1 safety in the country. Yeah. And I always looked at him like, damn. I mean, even when I'd see him in NBA games, I'd say, hey, man, I mean, you ever think about football? Because I think about it all the time, but I'm loving what I'm doing. I don't have any injuries like I do in football. Yeah. Do you ever think about football, since you said that was a dual sport, and you obviously have the body? With some of these pictures I'm looking at, like, you're stacked. Do you ever think about, hey, that great Tulane team that's won like 19 of 22 games, I think, something like that right now, about what you could be doing for that team? No,
those boys are special. And I talk to them all the time. They're trying to recruit me out there, but hearts with basketball. It always has been. Something about putting the ball in the hoop just really just makes me excited, gives me an opportunity. Just a thing that I love. And playing football is fun, watching it's fun. Playing basketball is what I really love to do. You know what I love about your like, say your Twitter page, and I mean you support all the sports. You know, it's really cool. Like something happens cool in football. This hat's killing me. Something happens cool in football. You know, you're retweeting it. You're putting the thing up, and you're congratulating your fellow Tulane Green Wave athletes. And I think that's the coolest thing, when y'all can cross promote and show love for each other. So talk about some of the guys in other sports that you've gotten to know, and you should appreciate their friendship. Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, all these sports. Tulane athletics is a nice little community. It's on a big high right now. It's amazing. It's awesome. I'm cool with a lot of the football guys. You know, we eat lunch together pretty often. A lot of the other sports as well. Baseball, we go to Bible studies together and just hang out with all the other teams. Like, things like that are so awesome. It's part of the reason that I truly love Tulane. I've really found a community here. That's crazy. So you got this season, and I want to get into it because your season starts like UNO's November 6th. And the beauty of it is I'm going to the UNO game at 6:30, and I'm going to go to the Tulane game, probably catch it midway through the first half, because you don't start till 8 o'clock. Yeah. Thank y'all for doing that, both those schools, because I'm going to be a gym rat and watch y'all, but I can't wait. So talk about this season, coming off the success in China, because you got most of those players. You got a new player. You're replacing Jalen Cook, who went back to LSU. But talk about the expectations and some of the guys in general and what you expect from them. Yeah, the expectations are as high as they've always been. You know, we've got a list of returning older guys like myself, Cross, Forbes, of course. We've also got Colin Holloway, Trey Williams, Percy Daniels. Those are 3 guys that have been here with us. And then some of the new guys coming in. So that's 5 you named: Kevin Cross, Jalen Forbes, and those 3 guys. That's right. 5 plus you. Okay, keep going. Plus Colby King, Greg Glenn. Those 2 are special. Plus new players. New guys. Right. Transfers, very special. Plus we've got other transfers. Jordan Wood, incredible shooter. Asher Woods, incredible scorer. Really? We've got guys that can go. Logan Stevens, another guy. I mean, there's only 5 places on the court. Are these guys going to get some time? I haven't even talked about our freshmen. We got a special group. We have a super special group, and it really makes me smile. I'm getting excited just talking about it, because I love these dudes. You might want. This is the new mayor of New Orleans coming up. I think there's going to be an election in 2 years. He's going to be the first
professional / mayor, basketball player mayor in the history of sports. I mean, seriously, you should be the spokesman for the team. I know you probably do as far as the players go. In fact, when I first told Ron last year I wanted to start promoting Tulane, he goes, you know, he was like, okay, we got Sion. We're giving Sion. Yeah. You were the first one. I've had a couple since, but the fact is, you like being the spokesman for this team, right?
I love it. I love being able to represent these guys. Like I said, these are my teammates. These are my brothers. These are guys that I love as if we've grown up together. And anytime I get to speak and tell about the love we have for each other and the love we have for our community, it's just what I enjoy doing.
All right, so you just glossed over 2 guys. A lot of these people don't know Tulane basketball well, so I want you to tell. You said Cross and Forbes, like we all know them. I know them, but this is one guy is second team all-conference preseason. The other's first team all-conference. Jalen Forbes came from Alabama. Kevin Cross came from Nebraska. This is a nucleus. I think you 3 are going to be on most of the posters, right? And you got other great players, and you mentioned them. But talk about them individually and what makes them special. Let's start with Jalen Forbes, the preseason first team all-conference player.
Jalen Forbes is and has been the heart of our team since he stepped foot on campus. Jalen's special. Of course, he's an incredible shooter, playmaker, scorer, defender. But personally, he's someone that leads the charge for us. He's someone that we all follow after and someone that we all look up to and respect, not just for what he does on the court, but for the way he leads off the court. Like, he's special.
I saw him hit 22 straight points in a game last year. Like he didn't do much for a while, and all of a sudden he said, like, give me the ball. And he just took over, man.
And none of us batted an eye. We've seen it happen before. We knew.
It's special, huh?
He can do it in so many different ways.
Okay, what does Kevin Cross bring to this team? Because I have my thoughts, but as a teammate, I want to hear what you have to say.
Everything. Absolutely everything. He's almost a point guard for us, the way he brings the ball up the court and make plays.
He does a little more of that, yeah.
He can score in the paint. He can guard the paint on the other end. He can shoot it from outside. He can do everything for us. Without Kevin Cross, our team does not run.
So now, I remember, I don't know if all of y'all did this. I know you declare it because there's a rule you can come back. In my day, well, not even that long ago, when I was an agent for a decade, you know, once you declare it, it was over. And then they started being smart about it because, hey, these guys there's only, 60 draft picks? I mean, it's not like the NFL where there's, 7 rounds and, all these guys. So y'all all just dipped your toe in the water? Was it everybody? I mean,
it was the 3 of us.
You 3, that's what I meant. I mean, that's what I meant by right. So you 3, these guys right here, who will be playing professionally, one way or the other, they will all be making a lot of money professionally, whether it's at the NBA, and I think they all have a great shot at that for sure, and definitely, if not that, overseas or G League, whatever you want to do. But the fact is y'all all dipped it. I mean, and did you get a feel for what they were saying you might want to work on, or tell me about that process and how it went?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing for all of us was just getting ourselves in front of NBA teams. We all want to be professionals, of course, but the dream is to play in the NBA. It is and always has been for all of us. So this opportunity gave us a chance to go directly to teams and work out in front of them and talk to their decision makers and to basically promote ourselves as basketball players to these individuals. And it was an incredible opportunity.
I've had guys, I'm going to tell you how crazy this NBA thing. I've had guys, my first 2 first-round picks, one went 23 and one went 6. And they both were not even on anybody's radar, literally, until the end of their season. And, one was Ekpe Udoh, played Baylor, and he just shot up because he had this huge tournament. Kind of like Tyrus Thomas did at LSU when they went to the Final Four in 06. He was the 4th pick. But the other was Wilson Chandler, who I kind of tried to talk his parents into staying in school. I mean, he was the second year at DePaul, averaged 15 both years, and I'm like, I said, my advice is to stay. They're like, we're going to get another agent then. I'm like, okay, let's do this. But he ends up shooting all the way up to 23 when I was thinking there's no way he's going to be drafted. It's nuts. The intangibles they look for, and you certainly have all the intangibles they look for, but all 3 of your main guys that will be going professional next year have what it takes. I'm telling you, they do different things specially, and it's going to take a break here or there. But I'm going to tell you, I was in the business for a long time, and y'all all work your butts off, and that's the first thing they look for, because, there's a talent everywhere, and that's what separates you. But do y'all ever think about and talk about it privately? I mean, you have to, because this is your dreams. Do y'all talk about this process and maybe what could happen next season?
Yeah, it was funny because when we all got back to campus in June, we kind of debriefed about what our NBA process was like. And this is going to work out for all of us because now we're going to get our degrees, we're going to finish up our education, and then see what's next, see what the next steps are for all of us. And it's incredible just seeing, kind of comparing, seeing what everyone's experience was like, what they enjoyed. It's pretty cool stuff.
I love your coach too. I know, and I love his wife. I mean, they're just great family atmosphere there. Talk about Ron and what he means for this program.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Ron Hunter, that is, everybody.
Committed to play for Coach Hunter for a reason. It's because he knows his stuff and he'll love me like a son, and that's what he's done. He told me that when I committed as a 16-year-old, and that's certainly been the truth since I've been here. I've really appreciated playing for Coach Hunter. He's showed me love. He's given me the opportunity, and I'm forever thankful for it.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Tulane's very thankful for you. I know that, and I love that story you just said. You committed as a 16-year-old, and you're growing into a man. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for you, man.
Absolutely.
I really can. I'm going to be going to a lot of games, as I will be going UNO, Pelicans, high school games. But y'all have something special, and I'm just praying you continue to nurture it, okay?
Absolutely.
There he is, Sion James. Here you go. We got gifts here. You know it. I know your colors are green, but you have some blue in a lot of the Angry Wave stuff, and this is almost that exact blue. They call it Heather Chambray.
Hey.
It's a new task color. Just came out. And then we got a gift certificate. This is easy for you. My man from UNO's got to go from the lakefront to get over. You got to go about 8 blocks, maybe. And this is right, you know, the Starbucks is on Maple Street?
Yep.
It's right next door. It's called Shays de la Shays. And check it out right there. You can also go to De La Shays on St. Charles, but it's right there between Carrollton and Broadway, as they say.
Perfect.
Everybody, Sion James, follow him. Check him out on social media, Sion. You saw the lower third. This hat is really getting Fire Marshal Bill style. There we go. Oh, I straightened it out accidentally. All right. Hey, I enjoyed that. Like I said earlier, I've been talking basketball the entire show because I love college basketball. I love it. Get out and support your teams. Get out there to UNO. Get out there to Tulane. Hey, if you want to get over to Southeastern and Logan's team over there, I don't know, get over there too. Have some fun. Enjoy college sports. Hey, coming up next, a guy that played college sports about 25 years ago. I shouldn't date him, but he was on a team that was undefeated, so they have a lot of pride in taking that. That's right, the 1998 Tulane Green Wave was the benchmark that all these other Tulane teams are compared to. You know, you got the 73 Green Wave with the one that beat LSU when I was a kid, 14-0. Obviously, the teams right now, these last 2 years, are doing unparalleled things for a 2-year period. But it all started in 98. That was an undefeated squad. And I got Jimmy Ordeneaux, a tackle on that team. That's right. One of the big uglies on the offensive line. Well, he's slimmed down a ton, but he's also big with the Tulane NIL. Remember I had Micah Rada on with Gordon McKernan from LSU? Those guys talked about NIL about 6-7 months ago. Well, Jimmy plays a big part of that as well, so I can't wait to have him on to talk about that great squad in the late 90s and also what they're doing for the Fear the Wave organization that gets all the money to hand out to the Tulane players. That's coming up next right here on Primetime Sports. And there's our semi-sinister Halloween music right there. But hey, we got something much more sinister for people out there having cancer. It's a very real thing. I've had it twice. And this is the last day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Real Men Wear Pink. This is a big deal that's been going on for the last several years. I have friends involved with this. This is a guy, Hugo Chanez, and I hope I pronounced that right. It's the big Pink Margarita Night Out, and that's tomorrow in the fight against cancer. It's up there in Baton Rouge on Lee Drive, La Chalanga. And if you're in that area tomorrow, well, check them out and go out and see that. And we, as you know, let's all support breast cancer and the fight against it here. We got this RIP sign, which I did notice. That's our breast cancer awareness. This is the last day of breast cancer awareness of the month of October. We all know that if you ever take flights, which I do every weekend, all the stewardesses, I shouldn't say that, flight attendants, they're all, even the men, they're in pink. So it's pretty cool, all the awareness going on. Jimmy Ordeneaux.
How you doing, man?
Welcome to the show. I teased you at the end, by the way. You were on the 98 undefeated team.
Sure.
You all had that thing going on for a long time. Now you're involved with the NIL. Obviously, you have the Jimmy O show.
Right.
And when I first met you, you were one of the guys calling the games at Sion Greenway because I moved back 11 seasons ago. This might be I guess this would be my 12th season, 11 years and a half. So yeah, you were one of the guys calling the games. This is the Jimmy O show. That's last year with two guys, Dorian Williams, who you're seeing him play on Sundays. Nick Anderson's still trying to hook on, but. Let's go back to when you were calling the games because that's when I met you.
Sure.
You were doing it with Ty Graffinini and Steve.
That's right. Yep.
Right.
I was.
And so talk about that and how you got into calling games and media in general.
You know, it's interesting. I I played in the late 90s, finished in 99, and you know, obviously a fan.
And I'm going to stop for a second because you are wearing a legit track suit football outfit, Tulane football. That logo says it all. That is from the late 90s. That logo might even be older, right? That logo's from the 80s, right?
Well, buddy, we had it on our helmets my first 2 years.
90s, okay.
First 3 years with Coach T. The so-called bacon wave. And
bacon wave.
So this is a little earlier in my career. This is actually Bike is the manufacturer.
Yeah, not Nike.
Not Nike.
But
not
Bike.
Nike. Bike. And then you know, the Nike pants with the zippers on the side. That's more Coach Bowden. This was 98.
Coach Bowden. Strange look he had there, because he's always wearing those baggy things. And the 98 Green Wave hat, that's the one. The perfect season. That's the team. And correct me if I'm wrong, when's the previous undefeated team that they've ever had? Like, it was the 30s or 40s?
They had a undefeated but tied team or something somewhere in the 30s.
Right. So you might be the legit only undefeated team ever?
We were definitely the only 12-0. I think the only 11-0 for that matter, but they may have been a 10-0-1 type of outfit somewhere in the old days, pre-World War II.
Okay, I don't want to end your thought on what you're talking about, because I have a question to ask you about that team versus this team, but continue your media thing, because when did you get that bug and how'd you get into it again? You know,
I just had a bug to be a part of the program as much in whichever way I could help, and I was friends with Todd.
Right.
And you know, they were in search for I guess at that time it was the era of the message boards, you know, and everybody's really active on a message board. And I guess I wasn't a total idiot when I was posting things on there, and Todd said, you know, maybe he would work as a sideline guy. So he approached me about my interest in it. At the time, I didn't yet have children. I now have 4.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
And so, you know,
that curbed it.
Yeah. Traveling with the team was something I was able to do. Towards the end, I had my son was a baby.
How long did you do it?
2. I think I did 2 years on the sideline and 2 years in the booth for the home games.
Yeah, Barrios has been doing it for decades now, right? I mean, he played in '69, and I think he played some professionally, but he's been doing it since the late 70s, hasn't he?
Yes. And so, yeah, he's about 40 years now. And, you know, in my case, we did a 3-man booth for the home games with Todd, Steve, and I, and Gus Cattingill on the sideline.
Sideline, right.
So we did that for a little bit in Curtis Johnson years.
Yeah, that's when I got here.
Yeah, and that was for the home games only, and then we would do post-game shows and things like that. I'm a lawyer by trade. I'm not a media personality per se, but I enjoy, you know, being part of the program, promoting it.
Did you go straight to law school from playing, or did you?
Yes.
Okay, you went straight like 99. I mean, what year?
Yeah, I started law school in 99.
So you were a senior that year. Y'all went undefeated.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did you have any inclination? I mean, this is some other guys, not necessarily part of that team. I know Terrence Jones played in the 80s along with Mike Arata on the right. I'm not sure that is in the back.
That's the producer for Terrence's show.
So this is, okay, Terrence has show too, yeah. But, like, did you have any inclination that y'all, because I'm going to tell you something that's going to freak you out. No. That year, I came down, there's some Tulane girls that I knew that were living in D.C., but they came to Atlanta to come, and then I was taking a bus because we came down for the LSU-Georgia game. They're both ranked in the top 5 or 6, right? And so all the Georgia people from Atlanta came, and we flew in, say, New Orleans. We took a bus up to the LSU game. And I was talking to one, I'll never forget this moment. Evelyn Dietz was her maiden name. O'Reilly is her name now. And she went to Tulane in the, like, say, late 80s, right?
Okay.
So we were talking about Tulane, and I looked at her, and this was early in the season, like this was mid to late September. And I said, Tulane's going to go undefeated this year. And I looked at the schedule. I said, listen, because I looked at, this wasn't a pie in the sky thing. I looked at the schedule. I'd seen 3 games, I think, of y'all already. And at least 2. I think it was 3, though. And I just was like, I see them potentially going undefeated. I may not have been like, I'll bet my life on it. And she looked at me because she knows I love sports and know sports, and she just announced it to all the other Tulane people on the bus, which is only a few. There's 60 of us, and 50 were Georgia people, 2 were LSU because they came to Atlanta, and the rest were Tulane people. And then when it happened, I got some kudos. But did y'all when did you first realize that y'all might go undefeated?
I think in our case, we had we had expectation of that going into the season because. You know, when you look at the way 97, I mean, we were 2-9 my first 2 years. 97, we go 7-4, and those losses were there was an unexplained one of Rice, but we lost Deuce and John Avery,
Ole
two
Miss.
first-round picks at
Yeah,
Ole Miss.
Miss was great. Yeah,
that Ole Miss team beat LSU. We lost to them, and in a game that we were competitive, but gave it up. Southern Miss was incredible that year. They beat us at their place pretty good, but in the Syracuse game, there was a game against Donovan McNabb and crew, and I mean that was Tabucky Jones, Donovan Darius, Donovan McNabb.
A lot of pros.
They had a ton of pros,
Yeah.
and they were a top 15 type
So those
team.
are your losses in '97.
Yeah, and then you just looked at it like how,
Did Bowden get there in '97?
97,
yeah.
right.
So and then '98 you come in, you got a lot of returners.
Yeah,
Sean
right.
King, the quarterback. Obviously, we all know him. He went on and played for the Tampa Bay Bucks in the NFL. But when you go into the preseason practices, you don't. You always think you're going to win every game. But did y'all really think, hey, we might go 10-2, 11-1, maybe even 12-0?
At least on the offensive side of the ball, we kind of felt like we had a secret sauce. We felt like we couldn't be stopped.
Right.
And there's some validity to that based on the results.
Right.
But just sort of, we were kind of doing things that nobody else in the country was really doing in terms of tempo, and some of the zone read look stuff and so forth. And so we were kind of ahead of the curve.
Rodriguez, offensive
right, exactly,
coordinator,
exactly.
Obviously, and Tommy Bowden, two great offensive minds for
right.
sure.
And so Sean in '98 ended up setting the efficiency record for the NCAA, and he held it for quite some time. I mean, the game's changed, and now guys have beaten it, but he had the highest mark for probably a couple decades.
Wow.
And I mean, we just, it was ruthless. Like, I mean, we really just expected to score 45 plus every game, and you would do it. And so the defense just had to do enough, because we did lose players on defense. And the biggest concern would have been, replacing the guys that we lost on the defensive side of the ball. But we had enough young guys that were able to step up on that, and we put them in a tough spot because we scored so fast. I mean, we were scoring average drives were less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, and they're not getting rest. I mean, that's the thing. I am in meetings all the time with coaches every week. We got the coordinators on both sides and the head coach and some of the players every week. And a lot of these tempo teams, the defensive coordinators are saying the same thing. Sometimes I got to go to the head coach and say, hey, we got to slow the pace down. These guys can't just keep running the ball a few times, because they just can't. Even if they score, they realize the defenses get tired, man.
Right.
They're out there all the time.
Right.
So you had one of the biggest innovators. And honestly, Rich Rodriguez, as a young guy, I mean, I did game not long ago in Arizona. Now he's at Jacksonville State. But the guy knows offense, and he did it at West Virginia. He was at Michigan. So you guys had some heavy-duty future great coaches out there, but guys that were cutting their teeth. Y'all were doing some innovative stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what's interesting, one little tidbit, I talked about the defense, that some of the biggest plays ended up being defensive. But one game where it was put to the test was the Southern Miss game. They were the big boys on the block. Sean broke his wrist the week before.
Right, I remember that.
Hurricane George's Navy, we beat them badly, have to evacuate immediately. And we come back, and so we lost practice time. We come back, it's like, well, Sean's wrist is broken. He can't take a snap under center.
Oh, my.
And so we were about a 25-30% under center offense at the time. So on the fly, having to innovate and develop everything out of the shotgun. I mean, you talk about innovation. I mean, we sort of took all the under center stuff and figured out a way to time it up and make it work out of shotgun within 2 weeks. That Southern Miss game, Jeff Curtis would come in and take the under center stuff. Had one of the biggest passes of the game, was backed up on the goal line. Jeff throws it for all he's worth, about 45 yards
JT's
downfield.
son, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's about to set the national record this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Jeff's biggest play, I mean, but
Jeff's a great guy, man.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely. Him. And I mean, I was just like, but he took the under. We were backed up. We were on a 3 yard, our own 3. And Southern Miss has a great defense. Darius Thomas, a bunch of those guys. And, takes snap, throws it up in double coverage to Jawan Dawson. Jawan makes a play, 45 yards downfield. But by Louisville the next week, everything was done out of the shotgun, because Sean, with the broken wrist, could receive the shotgun snap, but he couldn't take the
It's hard, man. You got
with the broken wrist under center.
So the Liberty Bowl was the game. Back then there were 11 game seasons. Okay, 12 games if you're under 30. You probably don't even remember this, but 11 game seasons. You go to the Liberty Bowl and you play BYU, if I'm not mistaken, and then you take that one, and then you have kind of a claim. Like UCF recently, they were claiming we were undefeated. Hey, why not us national champions? undefeated yet overlooked. What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we felt that. I mean, we felt truly. I remember watching.
That's what Tennessee won, right? That's the
Yeah,
first
it was Tennessee.
BCS year.
And I remember watching. It was the championship Saturday.
That's great.
And going into that, they're the undefeated. UCLA was undefeated. They were making up a hurricane game at Miami.
Right.
This is when Butch Davis was just getting started.
At Miami, right.
And so they were undefeated. UCLA was undefeated.
Kate McNown?
Yeah. They were undefeated. Kansas State was undefeated. And Tennessee was undefeated. And those first two lost. So Miami upsets UCLA.
This is Tennessee's first year without Peyton Manning.
Correct. So T. Martin's the quarterback, Peerless Price, that crew.
It's the first year they had the BCS, meaning like they, instead of a mythical national champion where you voted on it, right? Like in years past, forever. They had two teams. It's not like the 14 playoff now, certainly not the 12 team that's coming. There was just two, and Tennessee won. But I always was fighting for y'all, too. Like, hey, why not us?
Right, absolutely. Well, right. And so in that day, everybody loses. Every other undefeated loses except Tennessee.
Yeah.
So the only one goes. They put Florida State in the game with them. And Florida State had Marcus Outson. I don't know if you remember that name.
He was
I know backup quarterback.
I know, the Rooster. We call him Rooster.
Right. And when you watch that game, we couldn't help but feel that had we been given that chance, we could have. Maybe we don't beat Tennessee, but it's a hell of a game.
You out. I did the tease for that game. That's one of my biggest first producers. And we had a rooster because he was the backup and he had to play. Right. And we put a scared rooster, a real rooster, in the middle of a big thing and put the light on and played the song Rooster. But is it Soundgarden? I believe Alice in Chains, one of those two. And it got loaded. Look it up. It was pretty phenomenal. Right. But that's right. I remember that game. But hey, I can't believe we're already running out of time. We get to talk NIL, but I have to ask you a question. I know you're tied in with this team very closely, the Willie Fritz's team. I mean, the best 2-year mark in Tulane history, right? I mean, what are they now? 7-1 or 8-1?
7-1.
7-1, 12-2 last year. You're 19-3, man, and that's you last year at the Cotton Bowl, and that was such a huge moment. Could this team beat your team? And I know you're going to be all diplomatic, but be honest with me. You had Sean King. They got Michael Pratt. You had a great offense, man. You had great players. This team's got great players. Last year's team, could y'all compete? Let's just say that.
We could compete with them, yeah. Yeah, just because as great as those guys were, and they were awesome. I mean, we literally never were beaten. I mean, you can't tell me my team I should expect to lose when never lost, right? So
that's Rich Rodriguez right there. You one of the guys carrying him?
Yeah, I'm carrying him. He's on my shoulder, 68. You can't.
You're 68. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ordeneaux, man, a part of that 1998 team. I need to get some more of your guys on there. Can you help me recruit some of these dudes?
Absolutely, man.
Because we need to recognize some of these dudes from the past, some of these greats, and you're part of that. I know Nelson Stewart's been on this show. He probably didn't play as much as you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but he was a good part of the team.
I love Nelson.
Man.
No. He's one of my good friends. So, by the way, Archie Rodenkirk, Desi Vega, I know you're probably wondering, when's he going to bring out Mr. John's thing? Because I gave the younger guys the shades, tell the shade. Here we go. Jimmy Ordeneaux. In fact, I have a picture from Mr. John's with you if they have it. It's got Coach Fritz in it. It's got Mike Arata. It's got John Brady. But there you go. Archie will take care of you. It's also got a Ron Hunter. There you go, right there.
There we go. Look, that's us right there.
Desi Vega. Let's go. Ron Hunter, Desi, John Brady, Willie, Mike Arata, me and you.
That's a great picture.
Go.
Great picture,
other than me, that's a murderer's row with some folks in there. But congratulations to all the success, all the Tulane athletics. I know you're a big part of the NIL with Mike Arata, but here's a task shirt.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
And continue the great work. I've been impressed watching from afar. I remember seeing you at the Houston basketball game last year, and the place was packed. That's the first time I knew that you were part of the NIL, right? Because I was just finding out a lot of things. And then we talked a little bit, but y'all done such a great job in such a short period of time. It's been unbelievable. So, like I've said this whole show, I had UNO, Jordan Johnson, the guard that leads the country in three-point field goal percentage. That's remarkable, 363 teams, number one. We had Sion James, which is one of the most impressive athletes I've ever interviewed, and I've been doing this for 30 years. On the regular. That guy's amazing. And Jimmy Ordeneaux, this is a college-based show. Well, of course, we talked a little Saints in the Open, but not much. And I want you to get out there and continue. I say this all the time. Support your colleges. Support them all. Xavier, Loyola, obviously Tulane, UNO, all the ones around here. And if I leave you out, I apologize. But get out and just have fun. Get out there and enjoy college athletics. Once again, appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we're coming back next week. Happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you got all the treats you wanted and very few tricks. We'll see you then on Primetime Sports.